Australia, colloquially, officially known as the Commonwealth of Australia, is an Oceanian country comprising the mainland of the Australian continent, the island of Tasmania, and numerous smaller islands. The name Australia is derived from the Latin terra australis, southern land, a name used for putative lands in the southern hemisphere since ancient times. The first time that the name Australia appears to have been officially used was in a dispatch to Lord Bathurst of the 4th of April 1817, in which Governor Lachlan Macquarie acknowledges the receipt of Captain Flinders' charts of Australia. At the time of European settlement in the late 18th century, most Indigenous Australians were hunter-gatherers, with a complex oral culture and spiritual values based on reverence for the land and a belief in the Dreamtime. After World War II, Australia encouraged immigration from Europe. The House of Representatives, the lower house, has 150 members elected from single-member electoral divisions, commonly known as electorates or seats, allocated to states on the basis of population, with each original state guaranteed a minimum of 5 seats. By contrast, federal legislation overrides state legislation only in areas that are set out in Section 51 of the Australian Constitution. State parliaments retain all residual legislative powers, including those over schools, state police, the state judiciary, roads, public transport and local government, since these do not fall under the provisions listed in Section 51. All these factors have led to Australia having the highest mammal extinction rate of any country in the world. Water restrictions are frequently in place in many regions and cities of Australia in response to chronic shortages due to urban population increases and localized drought. Australia has among the highest house prices and some of the highest household debt levels in the world. Australia has grown at an average annual rate of 3.6% for over 15 years, in comparison to the OECD annual average of 2.5%. In the 2011 Australian census, the most commonly nominated ancestry was English, 36.1%, followed by Australian, 35.4%, Irish, 10.4%, Scottish, 8.9%, Italian, 4.6%, German, 4.5%, Chinese, 4.3%, Indian, 2.0%, Greek, 1.9%, and Dutch, 1.7%. In common with many other developed countries, Australia is experiencing a demographic shift towards an older population, with more retirees and fewer people of working age. Australia has no state religion. Section 116 of the Australian Constitution prohibits the federal government from making any law to establish any religion, impose any religious observance, or prohibit the free exercise of any religion. Australia has 2 public broadcasters, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation and the Multicultural Special Broadcasting Service, 3 commercial television networks, several pay TV services, and numerous public, non-profit television and radio stations. The shock of the United Kingdom's defeat in Asia in 1942 and the threat of Japanese invasion caused Australia to turn to the United States as a new ally and protector. Australia has been involved in UN and regional peacekeeping, disaster relief and armed conflict, including the 2003 invasion of Iraq. Australia's landmass is on the Indo-Australian Plate. However, the economies of 6 of Australia's major trading partners have been in recession, which in turn has affected Australia, significantly hampering its economic growth in recent years. Australia is a developed country and one of the wealthiest in the world, with the world's 12th largest economy. Australia's military expenditure is the world's 13th largest. With the benefit of government support, the Australian new wave of the 1970s brought provocative and successful films, many exploring themes of national identity, such as Wake in Fright and Gallipoli, while Crocodile Dundee and the Ozploitation movement's Mad Max series became international blockbusters.